today, how is everybody doing? I'm excited. A few updates, a few exciting announcements. We're going to be talking about the 4 Ps of kind of time management. We're really going to apply those to the holiday season and how to make it a really successful next 6 weeks for you and your business. So this isn't just about kind of the personal piece. This is about the whole gamut. We're going to touch on 4 different areas. So we're going to touch on planning, the prioritization, what the pacing is, and what the performance is. Those are the 4 Ps, and how each of those is going to allow you to just be better organized and really take advantage of what is going on for your business and really creating the success for the upcoming season. For those that are new, we've had a lot of new people this week. Welcome, welcome. My name is Karen Kleinwort. I am your host every Tuesday, except for next week, doing live trainings on different topics. We kind of pick the topics that are of importance to not just our group members, but what I see happening over the course of different groups that I belong to and moderate, kind of bring those in and we address those. I also, we kind of have a plan. I don't really, yes, we have a plan. I don't say kind of, we have a plan. We have a weekly layout that we know what topics we're going to talk about, what the insights over on the Women's Business Resource Community are going to be talking about, the pro tools, so what workbooks, audio files, worksheets, all those things kind of come in play regarding kind of as we unroll the theme. So these get tweaked based on live feedback. So really the time management people are feeling overwhelmed right now. Like they're coming up on the Thanksgiving holiday, the personal time, they're coming up on Black Friday, Cyber Monday specials. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? When did they need to start? What kind of offers do they want to do? So much is going through. And then what does that marketing approach look like? So I think this is where our overwhelm starts to happen, and we kind of like get that paralysis, and we're almost afraid to take a step and make a decision. So I bring these live trainings because I think it's important for you guys to get information, concepts, strategies, solutions that may work for you as they are, or you take a tidbit and are able to apply it, or you file it away for later on. And that's kind of really what we want to do, is we want to make sure you have the tools to really succeed in your business as well as in life, in that whole body. And for those that have not met me before or have watched any replays, I have been doing this for over 18 years. I am considered one of the pioneers of the holistic coaching industry. When I started the mind, body, spirit integration, nobody else was doing it. Most people didn't even know what Reiki was. As a Reiki master teacher and integrating that into my sessions with my clients, I'm also a craniosacral therapist, so I integrated that with our sessions. So I take that mind, body, spirit, those 3 elements, and I really integrate them, and we address those. Even when I'm working from a distance, it's not necessarily just the body work, but we do hold that energy, we set the intention, and we look at you as a whole person, not just your business. So I bring my 20 plus years of, well, 25 now, years of business experience combined with that holistic approach to really give you a solid foundation to launch from, whether you're starting your business or you want to scale it. So this is interactive. So those that of you are showing up, awesome. Make sure you drop comments as we go through. If you're watching the replay and you have comments or questions, please comment, ask away. And if I don't respond within a timely manner, like within kind of 24 hours of you making the comment, please slide into my DMs, reach out, tag me, make sure you draw attention to it, because that means Facebook did not notify me of the comment. And it's a hit and miss, especially for the older replays. They don't always notify me of comments. So please, please, please make sure you reach out if I do not respond timely. It's not my intention to ignore you. So just know that. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? And I kind of always do this, and you'll start to see this as kind of like a natural theme. I always start off with a question. So I want to ask you guys, you're in the midst, really, we're in the throes of Black Friday, right? Kind of the preempting of Black Friday, the Thanksgiving holiday, figuring out the year end and really starting to plan for 2025. If you kind of look at the next 6 weeks, how do you feel about it? How confident are you that you have a plan in place for you to be able to be successful and stress-free? Where are you guys at? Kind of like on a scale. Where would you guys find yourself at? And we did talk about stress management and some tips 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was. So that focus happened. We're not going to really focus on those types of tools today. We're really going to take it from a business perspective and not a personal perspective. But you as an individual are going to play into that. So where would you guys be? Where would where would you rate yourself? Do you have a plan? Are you just winging it? What do you think? Where you at? And there's a delay. So I take a pause so I can watch where comments come in. All right. With that, if you are new to your business, please know that you may not have a plan. This may be your first Black Friday. This may be your first holiday season as a business owner. And that's okay if you don't have a plan, if you're kind of just winging it. Because what you're going to do is you're going to learn. You're going to really embrace this holiday season as an opportunity to find out where your people are, right? Where are your clients? What are they doing? What kind of interaction are they having? Are they taking a vacation next week and kind of being off of social media? So how would you reach them if they are? So you really want to kind of allow this holiday season to be about research and learning for you and your business. So next year, you can really plan for that. If you are established, so 2, 3, 4, 5 or more years in business, this isn't your first rodeo. You've gone through the season. What did you learn last year that you're now applying this year? What did you learn? If you want to share, that'd be awesome. You don't have to. Totally optional. So with that, think about it. What did you learn? How did you adapt to that and implement a new strategy this year? What do you think? Because this is the first P, planning, right? Planning is really about setting clear goals and being smart, right? We talk about the SMART acronym all the time, right? So is it specific? Thinking about the goal for the next 6 weeks, what's your goal? Is it, a conversion? Is it sales? Is it brand awareness? What is the goal? Be specific. Because if it's not specific, you can't do M, which is measuring. It needs to be measurable. So an example might be we want 10 new clients before the end of the year. So between Black Friday and the holiday season, we want to partner with 10 new clients. If you're service-based. If you're a product-based, it might be, I want to sell 100 units of whatever it is you sell, right? So it's smart because it's specific right now and it's measurable. You get to see what that is. You can monitor it. You can measure it as you go along. The A is achievable, right? Attainable. How realistic is it? So 10 new clients in 6 weeks, is that attainable for you? Do you normally bring in 10 new clients in an 8 or a 10-week period or a 12-week period? Because if you are on average, when we're talking service-based right now, if you on average bring in, say, 2 to 3 clients a month, then over 6 weeks with the holiday season, if your service and your special is priced appropriately, 10 new clients could be achievable because it's in a line with kind of pushing yourself, getting yourself out there and making it really desirable for them to want to partner with you as a service-based industry. So 10 clients might be realistic, because if you normally do 2 to 3 a month, if you only do 1 a month or 1 every couple of months, 10 new clients might be unrealistic, and it may not be achievable or attainable. So you really want to take a look at that piece of it and adjust accordingly. The R, relevant. Relevant based on your bigger goal. So if you're looking at scaling your business, where you want to grow by 20 or 25% in the course of 2024, is this goal, your 10 new clients, is it relevant to that big goal? Because is it going to make you, push you, let you achieve that goal, right? This is kind of the final push for the year. From a product-based business, right, we were talking about selling 100 units. Again, achievable, attainable. What do you normally sell in average on a monthly basis? And does this 100 units over the 6 weeks, does it push you to market a little bit more, to make sure that your product that you're selling is priced appropriately to attain that realistic goal of 100 units? And is that goal relevant to your bigger goal? So again, just like the service-based industry, your 100 units, is it getting you towards what your 2024 goal was, right? So that's your specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. And the last one is T, timely, right? There has to be a time associated with it. Well, we know we're looking at the holiday season, so it is timely. You have 6 weeks, right? And it's Tuesday, so yeah, so 6 weeks until the end of the year. Kind of crazy to think about it. So we have that smart approach, right? So when you're planning and you're looking at really making this next 6 weeks successful for you and your business, your goals need to be smart. And if you need to brainstorm about what goals might look like, then really lean into the group, because that's what it's there for. Ask for help. When you have that goal, what's the next part of your planning stage? You want to make sure you know what steps you need to take to get there. Do you have milestones, right? Mile markers. What are you achieving along the way? How do you know you're on task? How do you know you are going to meet the goals and, achieve them or exceed them? And what does that look like? What does the schedule look like? Is it flexible? Because with this type of holiday, especially the Black Friday and Cyber Monday, a lot of marketing needs to go into it, right? So what does that schedule for you look like? Are you pre-planning your content and pre-scheduling it? What kind of tools do you have? And is it flexible to where if you need to adjust it, you can? Or if something for you personally comes up where it impacts your availability, what does that schedule look like? And do you have some flexibility built into that? Which is why we kind of go back to having a scheduling tool, right? So Meta has their business suite where now you can pre-schedule stories and you can pre-schedule reels. So that's kind of a nice feature. Now you don't get all the bells and whistles you do when you use your phone, but at least you can get some things going, right? It doesn't have to be quote unquote perfect or using all of the tools, but you would have that flexibility to be able to pre-schedule those as well. So where are you guys at for planning? When did you start planning for the last 6 weeks of the year? And if you're just starting, that's okay. Just know you're going to be under a crunch. It means you're going to be a little bit more stressed. You're going to be a little more confined with how much flexibility you have regarding focusing on implementing the plan, right? Because that takes you into the prioritization, that second piece. For you really to be able to take a look at this 6 weeks and say, how do I make it the best holiday season ever? You have to understand what your priorities are, right? You've planned it, right? So from the planning stage, you've planned out what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, what steps you need to take. what resources you need. So now, what is the priority? How do you go through all of those tasks, to-dos, and say, this is priority one, this is priority two. Oh, I need to definitely get this done. What is your approach right now when you look at your day-to-day to-do list, task list? How do you determine what's most important? What takes a priority? What tools do you guys have? So there's, right, you can be using the Eisenhower matrix, right? The 2x2, where you can kind of prioritize it. You can kind of go through and just basically start to say, this has to be done, this has to be done, this has to be done. This is like a nice to get done. Having a plan and starting with your highest priority tasks first, each and every day, will allow you to finish the day feeling, oh, I got it done. I got everything I needed to get done today. All the bonus stuff that I got done, I get to celebrate because it's not on my list tomorrow and I'm not under pressure and it's not urgent to get it done, right? So understanding that, what happens if you have your priority list and then all of a sudden something comes in from left field and you're going, oh, that shakes up my list. It shakes up my priorities. What's your approach for handling that? Because I don't know about you, but like I've got two teenagers and, there's other things that come up that all of a sudden, distract me and take me away from what I was originally going to be doing. So how do you handle those moments of not true crises, but it feels like a crisis because you're like, I'm not going to have the time to get done what I needed to get done. What's your plan for approaching that, for having that flexible, right? Remember in the planning stage, we were talking about making sure you have some flexibility built in, right? So what's your plan for flexibility? Because that's going to help you with that list of prioritization. The other thing, and we're going to get into performance, but I want you to think about it right now. So when we get there, you kind of already have thought about it. If you could choose the perfect time of day for you to work in, some of us are morning people, some of us are night owls, some of us get that burst of energy right after lunch. What time of day are you at your best? Think about that, because that's going to make a difference when we kind of get to that fourth peak performance. But it helps you understand from a prioritization as well. Because what do you want to do when you're at your best? When you're thinking of all those tasks you need to do? How do you want to use that energy, that ultra focused time where you're like at your best? Because that's going to help you really be successful. It's going to help you at the end of every day go, I did all of that. I can celebrate because I got all my tasks done. Okay. Because this also then blends into the pacing, right? Prioritization and pacing. There's a bit of a flow there because as you're looking at your prioritization, you're also saying, how do I manage this workload? These are all the things I need to get done. This is when I need to get it done by. How am I managing the workload? Am I using a 15-minute focus time frame where I'm just going to focus for 15 minutes on this task and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break and relax? Focus another 15 minutes or 25 minutes, right? The key is you want to be consistent. You want to consistently making progress through the day while building in time to decompress. One of the tools, where I sit in my home office, I now have a bigger window. And so, right, I use the 20-20-20 rule. And that is every 20 minutes, I look up for 20 seconds that's at a distance more than 20 feet away. It gives my eyes a break from the computer screen because I'm always on the screen, right? Whether you're on your phone or you're on your computer, we're on screens all the time and we need to give our eyes a break. So that's one of my go-to solutions when I really want to make sure I'm staying focused and I get a lot done is I kind of set a timer. So every 20 minutes, I'm looking up and I'm looking out. And it's only 20 seconds. So it's not long enough to break your focus, right? Because, it takes us, if we're focused and we get interrupted, and this comes down to the pacing in our performance, right? If you're really super focused and then you get distracted, for you to get back into that focus after the distraction's over, it's going to be about a 20-minute period. So, which is why one of the things when you're looking at that pacing, you want to be able to say, I want to build into my schedule some flexibility. So that way, lunch, fuel my body, take a break, make sure I get some water, move my body, right? All of that goes to you having a better and more successful, not just season, but day each and every day. It allows you to be consistent, right? And we've talked before showing up online, right? We talk about marketing and on social media, and it is this consistency of showing up. It's the same of showing up for yourself and showing up for your business. You want to be consistently showing up. The beautiful thing is you get to determine what consistency looks and feels like. I can say consistency is doing X every day, 5 days a week, and then doing Y 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that's consistent. Because that might work for me for whatever those pieces are. But for you, consistency might be I'm only doing that once a week, and I'm doing that 4 times a week because that's consistent. Or I'm doing that once a day, and I need to do that twice a day. You get to determine what consistency looks like for you. And yeah, there's some rule of thumbs, right? Like you obviously, with the algorithms on social media, you might have to adjust what that consistency definition looks like to kind of play that algorithm game. But the most part, as long as you are being consistent, you're going to make progress towards those milestones and achieving those goals, which is why it's so important, right? To go back to that SMART piece, you want to make sure they are a SMART goal because when you are consistent, you can measure how you're approaching it. So with that, that's the pacing, right? We're looking at how do we manage our workload? How do we make sure we take breaks, but we are consistently working and progressing through the day? Because that impacts our performance, right? So a few minutes ago, I was asking you to think about what time of day do you work best? If you could choose what time of day you want to work at, what would it be? Would it be first thing in the morning? Would it be like early in the morning, kind of up before the kids or before the sun, as they say? Or would it be later in the afternoon, in the evening? Whenever you feel that you are at your best, you want to make sure that that is the time frame you are doing those high priority tasks because you want to give it your best. So thinking about that, how does your day look? When you're looking at your day, how are you approaching that? Because again, in order to set yourself up for success, we need to be planning for success, right? Because that old adage of if we're failing to plan, then we're planning to fail. This is where it starts to kick in. We really want to set ourselves up to be moving forward, consistently making progress. And we can only do that if we set those goals and those milestones, as small or as big as they might be. And while you guys are thinking about that, I also want to remind you that success is different for everybody, right? We kind of started off the training with that piece of it, right? Like success is going to look different. Whatever goals you have are going to be different for you at a different time of the year, different for me, different for other members in our group. So, how are you defining success? Because remember, when we're looking at setting those goals, you need to know exactly what you want out of it. You want to know exactly what this holiday season looks like when it's successful, right? So some of the goals are going to be about brand awareness, where you are just getting out there, putting your name in front of new people, and really getting people to know your brand, your imagery, your message, where it becomes recognizable, right? And that, again, we go back to that consistency, right? So brand awareness is one. And through brand awareness, we can then be looking at, we've done brand awareness. Now we want to be looking at that conversion, right? How do we convert people from just being aware of us to being interactive? So following us on social media, coming to our website, getting on our email list. What do those goals look like? Right? So brand awareness, sometimes that can be hard to measure, but it's going to be through consistency that's going to happen. So how you begin to measure that is going to be through that conversion. And straight up, sometimes people will actually put a survey out, you'll see them on Facebook, that, do you remember seeing an ad for XYZ brand? And that's the company trying to learn if their brand awareness campaign was successful or not. And if you don't remember seeing the ad and you honestly answer, nope, don't remember seeing it, then that tells the company we didn't do a very good job. Our brand awareness is not sticking. Our messaging is not hitting. It's not landing. So for you as a small business, you may not have that financial budget to run those types of campaigns, which is okay. But what other solutions or strategies could you use to take the pulse of your audience if they remember your brand? What are the things you think you might be able to do? So some of the things you can be doing is you can actually be reaching out to your followers and asking them to take a short survey. So, and it can be questions like, when you see our brand, what does it make you think of? When you are away from our social media platforms or our website, is there anything from our branding that you might see other places that you recall us? What about our brand or our messaging sticks out, resonates with you, right? So you can be asking some really, you know, open-ended questions to your current audience to get that direct feedback, whether it be through an email or through, a poll on your Facebook page, whatever that might look like. So you can be soliciting that information back, right? So if that's your goal about brand awareness, the more people that come back to you and say, oh yeah, like this is what I really love about your brand. I really like this, or I really like that. Then you can be like, all right, so our brand is going to be memorable. So this is good. So this is like a start, right? So once you have that kind of brand awareness, if your goal is conversion, then what are some strategies that you can be thinking about to do the conversion? You can be thinking about doing what they call, right, a lead magnet, where you create something of value in exchange for their email address or their phone number, right? So it can be a workbook, it can be a checklist, it can be some sort of ebook, something that would be of value that shows your expertise and that you are the solution or the place to come for this type of knowledge and information or product, right? You want to make sure that there's an exchange of that value of energy, what you're providing and what you're asking them to give you, whether it be an email or a phone number, right? Because that's coveted. If they give you an email address, they're saying, yes, I'm going to allow you into my inbox. And they need to get something in exchange for that. If you're asking them to give a mobile number because you're going to do SMS marketing, whatever that piece that you are providing, that value has to be really valuable. Why? Because now they're not just letting you in your inbox, they're giving you access to their text messaging, which is even more. It's a more of an intimate connection, right? So when you open up that connection, you want to make sure the exchange of energy matches that. So lead magnets are great with your Black Friday specials or Cyber Monday or end of the year holidays. What does that conversion look like? What are you looking for? And then what do you have set up on the back end? Somebody sees one of your posts, they click on it, they get over to that product or service, and then they don't take action. You've got them to click through, but you haven't converted them. So is your goal when you're looking at conversion to just get the clicks over to your website, to where your product is sold, or actually looking for that final sale? So you want to make sure you can follow through each of those steps, right? So there's the abandoned cart automated system, depending upon what system you use. Like I know with MailChimp, we can set it up where if somebody puts something in their cart, they automatically are like, we can reach out to them via email. Hey, we saw you looking. And you get those, right? And especially now you're going to get those. You're going to be, I don't know if you're like me, but I put things in my cart because I want to remember where they're at. I don't want to have to lose them or have to bookmark them. It's easier just to throw it in a cart. Well, then when I jump off, guess what? That triggers their abandoned cart email sequence. So you want to be aware of that strategy too, for not just yourself, but for your customers. And what does that look and feel like for them? Because again, your goal is, remember our examples were 10 new clients or 100 product units sold, right? So you want to be able to measure that. And if they do abandon cart, then what does the email sequence look and sound like? How often are you connecting with them, reminding them to come back? Are you giving them an enticement to finish the purchase? So an extra percentage off or a bonus piece if it's a product, right? So start thinking about what does that nurturing sequence look like for your potential clients and customers. So those are a couple of strategies. The third thing you really want to be thinking about when you're looking at that overall success for your holiday season is, what's the follow-up? Because you can do all the planning in the world and you can prioritize your day and you can be successful and you're on target, you're consistent each and every day, and you're working your best every day. You're giving yourself times out to rest, to relax, to rest your eyes, right? You got it going. You're like, I got the system. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. So what's the final piece? And that's the follow-up, right? That's you, once you've converted or gotten those new 10 clients or sold those 100 product pieces, the last step is the follow-up. What does that look and feel like? Do you have, hi Roxy, my puppy dog, right? Do you have your follow-up sequence in place? How are you going to nurture that relationship? Because they've gone through that know, like, trust, they've purchased, they've partnered with you, but that doesn't stop your relationship. Just because they've bought or partnered, it doesn't end, right? You want to build that loyalty base, that reoccurring customer. So what does that follow-up for you look like? What does a reoccurring customer look like? If it's a service base, you close those 10 clients, you've got 10 new clients, what does it look like? Are they on a 3-month program for your service, a 6-month program? Have they subscribed? What does that look like? Because what's next for them? What is next for them to continue to partner with you? Is there a next? And if there isn't, then do they restart what they just purchased with you if it's a service? Do they re-enroll? Do they resubscribe? What does that look like? And that's part of the planning, right? We can plan the front end, but you also have to plan the back end. Because without a plan on the back end, they're going to fall off. And a repeat customer is easy to sell than a new customer because they've already gone through the nurturing process, right? So if you're a product-based business and you've sold your 100 units, and it could be between 10 or 20 customers, it doesn't matter, right? It could be 100 new customers. What is the follow-up? Is the product that they're buying, is it a consumable product where they need to buy it over and over again? Or is it not, where it is a vase, say, we'll use that as an example, right? So a vase, it's a one-time purchase. But what's the follow-up? So they purchased it. What's next for them? Is there complimentary candles or a different shaped vase that might complement it? Is there dried flowers that could go in it? What is the follow-up? How do you allow them and empower them to become repeat customers? If it's a consumable product, and we'll use candles, right? It may take a month for the candle to be completely burnt. So it's a consumable product. So how do you get them then to come back and buy another candle? Or they've bought the candle, maybe you have a vase. Or if you were selling a vase, now you have candles. So you can, right? So how does that look for you? What is the follow-up, the back end looking like for these clients? Because you can have a successful holiday season, but being successful means you're really setting up the next year to start off on a strong foundation. And that's all about the follow-up. So what does that look and feel like for you and your customers? Because you want to have an idea of that before you start the upfront planning and those strategies. Because your messaging needs to be consistent from start to finish. Your branding all the way through. How are you addressing their needs, fulfilling their desires, right? That has to be all the way through. So to kind of recap, that's a lot, right? We kind of really covered a lot. The 4 Ps, when we're thinking of a holiday season, we were just kind of talking about the back end planning. You want to start with the front end planning. What does that look and feel like? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve over the last 6 weeks? How are you going to define success for you and your business? Your prioritization. What is a high priority for you? And remember, your priorities include your family and personal time and self-care. So how does those priorities impact that long to-do list, your task list, making sure you're getting everything done? You're showing up and being consistent when we're thinking about pacing, right? You're managing your workload. You're managing your own personal life at the same time. And then finally, your performance. You want to show up and you want to be strong. You want to give your best. So how does that look? How does that feel for you, right? Because then when you're looking at that performance, you want to make sure as part of your planning that you say every week, 8, 9, 10 days, you want to be reviewing how you're performing towards those goals. Do you need to make any changes? Do you need to adapt? Remember, we talked about schedules being flexible? Because when you're referring and reviewing your performance and being on task, you want to make sure that you're adapting if and when necessary. Okay. So that's our planning, our prioritization, our pacing and performance. You want to be looking at those strategies regarding setting yourself up for success. the front end planning, the back end planning, right, which is the follow-up. If you've got questions, drop them in the comments. Slide into my DMs if you have other comments that you have or questions you might have. I'm here to support you guys. Lean into the group. One of the things I did want to end with is actually a couple of things. Last night, we held our beta testing for our live networking event. It was successful. It was successful because I was able to use the breakout rooms without losing anybody, which is what we really needed to do. So I appreciate those that showed up last night for your time and your feedback and your input. So we will be looking at holding another live networking event in December. It'll just be one because, again, we're going to be looking at a larger group of people. So we'll announce that date soon. Then in January is when we'll actually really start posting them more and having a schedule for those. So you'll watch a couple of polls come out today and Thursday, maybe Friday, asking for your input on topics and themes. It'll be explained in the post, and then time of day for those as well to kind of get feedback from you guys, what would work best. So that's what's coming up. I'm really excited about that. I wasn't sure how well it was going to go last night. It went way better than I thought. So I was excited about that. And the other thing is we do have our Black Friday special open for you guys over on the Women's Business Resource Community. And it's where you save like $600 to get access to bi-weekly group coaching, all the flow tools, so the workbooks, worksheets, audio lessons, and then the groups. You hear she wants to play. It wants to play. So you want to make sure I'll drop the link for the Black Friday in the comments. And then watch for those polls. And I'm excited. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving week next week. I will be on and off line, but no live training. I'll see you in 2 weeks for the live training. And thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it.